morning and good afternoon. Welcome to DCTV, where I'm your host, Drew Collins, bringing you all sports-related news in the greater Cincinnati area. If you're new around here, make sure to stick around by hitting that subscribe button, leaving a like, and comment future video ideas down below. Now, if you already saw the title of today's video, it's basically about T Higgins, his past, present, and future on the Cincinnati Bengals. So let's get into today's video. T Higgins will have a monster season and amazing career. The Bengals did a great job drafting this dynamic duo, Joe Burrow and T Higgins. I'm here for the hype. There's a lot of hype around the league, and especially Cincinnati with this duo. That can one day be something great. And basically, I'm going to talk about everything about it. So let's get into T Higgins' upcoming and his background. Tamaris T Higgins was born January 18th, 1999 in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. He would grow up there and play basketball and football, which he quickly became a two-star player. If you don't believe me, watch this clip of him dunking at basketball.
Oak Ridge High in Tennessee has a five-star wide receiver that is committed to Clemson by the name of T Higgins, and he shows that he is just as good on the basketball court with this.
He ended up getting offers for both basketball and football, but football he definitely outshined because he was the second ranked receiver in the entire nation and 19th ranked player in all positions. So yes, he was a great basketball player, but he was one of the best football players in the entire country. And the athleticism really helped him when it came to that. So right away, T thought the best for him would to stay home and go to University of Tennessee. But after a while, he fielded some more offers, one of them being Clemson. And basically, he backed out of Tennessee and went to Clemson, but who can blame him? And looking back at it, it was definitely the right decision for T Higgins. As a true freshman in Clemson, T Higgins would have played 13 games, had 17 receptions for 345 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not a bad year at all for a true freshman that's playing at Clemson, who's getting top-tier competition week in and week out. Then you have his sophomore season, the 2018-19 season, where he would end up being a national champion. Every single player on that roster, from bench to starter to star, got recognition when you win a national championship. It just puts you on the map and helps you for your future. And then we have last season, where T would have 1,167 receiving yards and 13 touchdowns. Obviously, with that good of a season, why would you not forego the draft and go, and have a chance to be a first round or second round or whatever it may be? And that's exactly what T did. And obviously, it was a great decision. Once going to the draft, we all know what happened. T Higgins is easily a first round talent by far. But this receiver class was like any other. There were so many talented receivers. You could have probably got a third, fourth round receiver that has a first or second round talent in this year's draft. I believe there were 6 receivers taken ahead of T Higgins, so he ended up falling into the second round, the first pick of the second round, the 33rd pick of the NFL draft, and the Cincinnati Bengals would select him to pair him up with Joe Burrow.
With the 33rd pick in the 2020 draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select T Higgins, wide receiver, Clemson.
So somehow, to this day, I don't know how he fell to the Bengals, but he did, and I love the pick. At first, I wanted him to go offensive line because there was some offensive line on the board that I wanted to take, but after reviewing it a couple weeks later, man, it was such a good pick, especially for Joe Burrow. It was such a good pick. And if you want to see more on the Bengals NFL draft, I actually did a video already from rounds 1 through 7, the entire NFL draft, rated all the picks, and just told everybody what I thought. So make sure you check that in the link below. And another thing that's just really appealing to me is his age and size. He's coming out being only 21 years old. Most players do not start out that young. So he's 21 years old, and he's 6'4", 210 pounds. Like, you just can't deny that. And if you saw his speed during the college season or in his, draft workouts, he has the speed, size, he has a youth, athleticism. There's not much that this kid doesn't have. And he has plenty of time to learn it because of his age. I look at it like this. The reason why I say he's going to have a monster season, you have Tyler Boyd and AJ Green, who's the clear-cut 1 and 2 receivers on the team. So that means this guy's going to be having number 3 and number 4 corners guarding him. If you think T Higgins, is going to get shut down by your 3rd or 4th corner on most teams, I would laugh at you because he's 6'4". He's going to go up and moss most of these guys. I don't know. Unless there's some teams that have a really solid corner, that have a great secondary, but with teams that have, not the best secondaries, This guy should have some really great games, and Joe Burrow should be targeting him, because if you have AJ Green getting covered by 1 or 2 people, you have Tyler Boyd, with a decent corner on him, and then you have this guy, like, toss it up to him. I don't know. I think we're going to see a lot of deep passes, with this 2 connection. You have AJ Green, and don't forget John Ross, too. There's most likely going to be a secondary that's going to have to be deep. A safety's probably going to have to play deep when John Ross is out there, so that's going to be a 4-receiver set. Man coverage might be a problem for teams against the Bengals with this guy on the team. I also have a fun fact. So Chad Johnson is actually letting T Higgins be number 85 this season, letting him use a number, and Joe Burrow's being number 9. Obviously, Carson Palmer was number 9, and Chad Johnson was 85. So, that was the last dynamic duo that wore those numbers. And they were pretty good for a while, at least Chad Johnson. Now, one more thing before I wrap it up, I want to talk about some comparisons. I've seen a lot of comparisons with this guy, but one that stuck out to me was this article comparing him to Michael Thomas. When Michael Thomas was drafted, he was 22. He is 21. They're literally almost identical size. Michael Thomas is like 6'3", 205, 210. He's 6'4", 210. The speed in the draft, I don't remember what it was, but the pre-workouts were literally like off by like seconds. And, that's kind of crazy to think about. If he can just be half as good as Michael Thomas is in his first few seasons already in the league, he'd be a heck of a player. I mean, Michael Thomas is incredible, and the things he's done so far in his career are, legendary. So to see, obviously I don't like comparing players because it's kind of unfair to a player that's already proved so much in the NFL. But just to think of it, it kind of just makes you feel good, especially as a Cincinnati fan and the decisions of all these new young players coming in. And you really just got to have high hopes and be positive for the team and all these new players coming in. Now, if you guys want to see any other videos or have any other suggestions from other Bengals players or just, any Bengals news in general, make sure to comment it down below, because I want to look forward and look into more players, because it's always fun for me to go into these players and learn more about them. Like, I didn't know he was a 2-sport athlete and didn't know he was doing in-between-the-leg dunks in high school. He had offers to go play college ball for basketball. So, I mean, it's always fun learning more about these new players coming on the team, or even some of the veteran guys. So let me know down below. But that's about all I have for you guys today. So make sure to smack that like button, subscribe, get me to 1,000. We're almost there. Thank you for all the support. Anyway, stay you, stay true. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, I think about you all day, and at night I watch the stars shoot. I know love is not a game, but I can't control with my heart. I fucked up so many times, I know you thinking